Welcome back to The Quantum Truth, Sherry Anshara Unleashed. And today we're going over life as a projection, not a reflection, right?
Correct.
So, first off, let's start. What is life as a projection? Let's start there.
Everything you do is you project. When you become the godness within you, you are deliberate, you are focused, you have intention, and you are intent. That is what happens. So here's the idea in the old paradigm that life is a reflection. Well, if life is a reflection, it doesn't have any mass.
Yeah.
Like, could this table be a reflection? We wouldn't be sitting here. Is this microphone a reflection? No, because it wouldn't work. It would be up in the ethers.
Yeah.
And so here's another one. So that's a reflection. Here's this. Oh, let's have possibilities and potentials. What the hell are possibilities and potentials? Unless they're manifested actualities.
Right.
And that's why that law of distraction doesn't work.
Distraction. I
Yes,
love that.
because you're looking for manifested actualities. So someone who created this mic, he created it, and then he organized what it would look like, and then he implemented it, and then he, manifested it and actualized, and we're using it.
Wow.
And so it has matter, it has form, it's molecules, it's everything. And so that is a projection. So everything you do is a projection. So when people go, why is this always happening to me?
Right.
It's because in the 7 chakra systems of duality, your crown chakra is up your asset so far you're in your transverse colon. That's why. Boo-hoo. So get your head out of your assets that aren't working and get conscious and use both sides of your brain as a computer. If we're only using a left computer brain, look at it this way. Just imagine a 286 computer. Anybody remember a 286 computer? Well, that was one of my first ones.
Yeah.
Try downloading an app on that.
Right.
It's not going to work.
Blow it up.
Exactly. It would blow it up. It wouldn't know what to do. Well, that, in a sense, is your duality left computer brain. It's a 286 computer trying, which is trying to figure out what's going on. And you wonder, I wonder why my assets aren't working. Well, that's because your head's so far up it. That's why. So when you get conscious, it's more fun, it's more productive, and you know what you're projecting.
That's all. So I actually had. I want to go into a little bit about religion, which I started to be like, which religion do I want to do? And then I was like, you know what? I don't want any of these religions because they fight each other. So I've been on this path of seeking. Right? What am I about? What the closest I've gotten? If you go back as far as time, you hear of Yahweh. Or Jesus, right?
Well, Yahweh is God.
Oh, God. Oh, my. See,
you
you're
are
already
God.
doing it. Yeah. So Yahweh about you are God, right? So. Well, want to go into that a little bit of what is God? And then also, if you want a little kicker here, did Jesus exist? And if he did, was he an alien?
Aha.
A lot of ones there. Let's unpack that.
This
was a lot.
really okay.
I just teed you off.
Oh no, this is really good. So the idea is that we really create our lives. So this was confusing to me as a kid. As a child, I was raised in the Catholic, and which really means universal.
Yeah.
And so don't be out there praying for me or anything. Honestly, I quit the Catholic Church at 6.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at stuff, and they said that I had to dress up in a white wedding gown and marry Jesus, and I thought this is not happening for me. It didn't make any sense, and I had already had a near-death experience. So
Right.
and whatever. And so when the priest said that we were born to die, I raised my little hand and go, why show up? Got into trouble. But I wasn't being a smart aleck. It didn't make any sense to me. And so when we look at some of these ideas, it's everybody has their own idea of God. But it said we are made in God's image. So image is I am at that age. Imagine. That's what imagination. So if we're made in God's image, why are we less?
Yeah.
And so I could never understand how, and see, I teach comprehension. Well, at the point I couldn't comprehend it because I couldn't understand it, that why was God mean in punishing you?
Right. Yeah.
And
you got revelations where I was like, oh, well, duality really is when bad and good doesn't really exist because it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. And
So,
so if God is good, then why the heck is he beating the crap out of people?
right.
And that made no sense. And I took it to such and actually, I have a picture of me, honest to God. It's my favorite picture in the whole wide world. Honestly, I'm 5 years old. I'm dressed to the nines, and I'm sitting on Santa Claus's lap with my hand on my hip. And I'm looking at him straight in the face, 5 years old. It looks like I'm giving him the finger, actually. I'm not kidding you. And I told my mother, "Don't take me to this guy," because I thought he was God. He
Yeah.
was he was white Anglo-Saxon, sitting on a throne, and he had a list, and he's checking it once and he's checking it twice. I
Yeah.
said, "That's God."
Yeah.
And so I told my mother, "I'm not on his list." And I wouldn't go back. And
Right.
so we are taught that God punishes. Now this is duality. I love you, but I'm going to punish you.
Right. Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Mhm.
It absolutely makes no sense. And this is, I have to share this, Cassidy, as a little girl. I had a friend down the street. We didn't realize, like her mother was, tortured. She had 5 children. But she used to take this wooden stick, not a spoon, and beat the hell out, because she was, all the housewives on the street, then they didn't work. And
Right.
she'd be beating her kids and going, "I love you. I do this because I love you." So one time my mother got mad at me, and I went and got her wooden spoon.
Oh, yeah.
And because her mother said God told her to do this.
Yeah.
God told her. What kind of God? So I told my mother, "Aren't you going to hit me?" My mother was a pacifist.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she said, "What?" I said, but Lynn's mother hits her because she loves her." And my mother goes, "Well, I'm not hitting you." And I thought, wait a minute, my mother must not believe in God.
Yeah.
Do you see how confusing it is?
Yeah.
So the idea is that you are God, you are not a God. So there are too many a gods
Yeah.
on this planet, and then why do gods fight? Now you ask about aliens and Jesus.
Yeah.
Actually, he was a Pleiadian.
Oh, see.
And
See?
so,
I knew there was a
but
reason.
so when people come to me and they say, "You know what? I used to be a Pleiadian," and I said, "Good for you." So now what? Actually, a gal came to me one day. This is how we get screwed up in that left computer brain and the metaphyslar stuff.
Right.
And she said, "Sherry, I used to be an Arcturian, and I want to go back to Arcturus because I had the best life. Why am I here?" I said, "Well, you know why you were here? Arcturians are noted for being alcoholics. They are. I've met a few." And I said, "So you were drunker than a skunk in the bar in Arcturus," and said, "The next time I'll just be a human." So here you are. So shut up and figure out why you're here. And she starts laughing. She said, "Oh my God, that is so good." So the fact is, because we are multidimensional beings, and because of the multidimensional aspect of us, we are connected in many dimensions. But we have been told here in duality that if you talk to someone else, an alien, whatever that is, actually, duality is alien based to begin with.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
a program that you're nuts or you're crazy.
Yeah.
And so I would tell my mother when I was 3, because I talked to dead people, but I didn't know they were dead. And so even my brother said, "Don't tell me you're talking to dead people." This is years ago. And I go, "I am. They're in the grocery store. They're driving down the street. The people that are in the car by themselves wearing a mask, those are dead people." Now, not
I
being,
call those the Walking Dead.
those are Walking Dead. And so it never made sense to me. So we have these extraordinary abilities to be multidimensional. And my clients, and they're not nuts, these are business people, they're millionaires, billionaires, and some don't have anything. It doesn't matter. It's because they wrote their script. And their script got based upon a judgment of their God about them.
Interesting.
So when I quit the Catholic Church, I'll do this real quick, and I know I started at 8 years old visiting different churches, and I went to one, and they were singing, and they had their arms up, and I thought, this is
Right.
fun. And
Energy.
then the preacher got out and said, "You're all going to hell," and I ran out the door. I said, heck, even they're going. I thought, even they're going to hell. And what happened to the 144,000 of them that were going to hell? What happened to the other schleps that were million, that belonged, and now they can't go? Like, it makes no sense. Religion, not judging it, wronging it, but look at, does it make sense?
All right. Thank you, Sherry. That's all we have time for this episode. This was The Quantum Truth, Sherry Anshara Unleashed. You can find more information at www.sherryanshara.com. Thanks for joining us.